everybody. Another edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. And today is Wednesday, so that means it's one day before Thanksgiving, and we're getting ready to have a great show. So let me get my man Talent in the building. T, what's going on, bro? How you doing, sir?
Hey, happy Turkey Day, baby. Happy Turkey Day. We made it another year. The Indians and Pilgrims will be so proud.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, the can't call them Indians no more. The indigenous people will be proud. You know what I mean? Because it's not about that. The pictures they gave us when we was kids. It's really about family. This is my favorite holiday. Let you know.
Why? Because you're eating?
No, the family. Like, think about it. When you see this much family together, it's usually not a great occasion. It's more bad occasion than good occasion. So this is a scheduled good occasion, and I love family.
Yeah, there it is. My man Fig is in the building too. Fig, what's happening?
Hey man, all I'm gonna say is this: I love this holiday too. But if your dinner ain't halfway done, you lazy.
Okay.
What?
All right.
Sound like you talk about something going on in your house. Fig, you want to talk to us?
No. My stuff is pretty much almost done, man.
Okay.
The sides anyway.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, so let's get ready to jump.
Yeah, because ain't no Thanksgiving at Frank's house.
Frank's a hater, yo.
Yeah, I'm a hater today. I'm gonna be a hater today. Let's get ready to jump into this. Let's get ready to rumble, man. T, you're gonna be up first as usual. So here's the thing. I'm gonna throw it out to you, T. I don't know if you heard about this, but when the Arizona Cardinals returned from Mexico City, that one of their assistant coaches wasn't with them, and it was because he got fired. Sean Kugler got fired in Mexico because he got caught groping a woman in Mexico City over the weekend. And, as you all remember, the Cardinals played the 49ers in Mexico City, and the Cardinals found out that there was an issue with Kugler when he was groping a woman in Mexico City, and he got fired for this immediately. They're not playing with this, mess with
it. They ain't playing. Yeah. They said you can't be doing that, brother. Can't be. No. First of all, groping and fondling ain't in style anymore. Been out of style. And then you're doing Mexico City, is that?
Yeah, and Mexico City too.
I don't know what it is about people that they don't understand. Mexican jails are the worst.
That's
Russia and Mexico, you don't want to be there.
Yeah, I don't understand why people still want to do this groping and feeling up on women too when you in pro sports, bro. Like it's not like in a regular job, I think you might have a chance, but in sports, when it's a high profile team, you're going to get fired immediately. I think.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think it's a lot of loss in translation at the same time, giving guys the benefit of the doubt. I think that when you get caught up in flirting back and forth, some people take a leap that they shouldn't take, so to speak. Like, you know what I mean? Like. And she may have some sort of little, okay, or maybe he's cute, whatever, and the flirting. But then some dudes jump over the hurdle, and it's like, well, damn, I just winked. I ain't say grab my ass. You know what I mean? Like, so I think some dudes don't know how to gradually get there, Frank. You know what I mean?
That's very, very true. Some dudes don't understand the small signs. Yeah. Fig, what's your take with the Arizona Cardinals, jumping ahead of this curve and firing Sean Kugler before it even made it to the big news? They fired him in Mexico.
It's kind of crazy to me because I've been off the market for a long time, but I thought groping was legal in Mexico. I thought it was only outlawed here in America. I didn't know it was illegal in Mexico too. I thought those were some of the countries that was liberal when it came to groping. No, the thing is that he really wasn't trying to grope this woman. What he was doing is, his team lost so bad, he was trying to show the defense how you should tackle, and it got misconstrued as groping. But he was like, "Yo, all my defensive guys, this is how you tackle the opponent," and they misconstrued it as groping. No, but here's the thing. If a woman doesn't give you permission to touch her, then you shouldn't. It's as simple as that. Simple, plain simple. If she doesn't say yes unequivocally, then you shouldn't touch it at all. As a matter of fact, in this day and age, if I was single, before I would have sex with a woman, I'd have a contract that she needs to sign. I'd have a contract so she can consent to sexual, contact before I'd have sex with her. Because in this day and age, you could be having sex with a woman now and she change her mind and be like, I didn't say it was okay.
Yeah,
I would literally have a signed agreement, man. No way.
I can't even disagree with you. I see, the problem is we've been married so long, we don't even know how to operate being single. So that's one of the things we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, y'all got to stay on that side of the gate because you're gonna get arrested right away. Been out of the game so long, you know what I mean? And Fix, if they don't give you permission. See, that's the thing. Is one point I was making, Fig. It's like in the original flirting days, before all of this hashtag Me Too and Time Is Up and all that, there wasn't a point that somebody had to say, okay, now you can grab my butt. That's awkward. That don't happen. You read each other's signs and things gradually happen. What I think is going on now is guys are jumping over a hurdle. Like there's little baby steps to get there. And I think guys on step 2, they're going, yeah, that's going to be groping. So now it goes from the girl who seemingly was giving you consent to, you know what? That was some real weird, creepy stuff that happened. And I'm going to HR.
Hey, tell it. The problem is at this day and age, a lot of guys can't read.
That's true too.
You're talking about reading the signs.
No,
they
that's
can't
really,
read at all.
Yeah, you're right.
When we was growing up, reading was fundamental. We learned how to read. So these guys don't know nothing about no reading.
That's so true.
That's very true. All right, the show you watch is called Box Seats. We talk about sports with comedians. Another big sport headline that people aren't talking about is Aaron Judge met with the Giants yesterday and supposedly had a great meeting. People in New York and a lot of beat writers and stuff weren't thinking they would even want to get that far. My man Mike Sean has joined the show. Mike, what's happening, Mike? How you doing, sir?
Hola, mi gente, hola.
So, any concern with you now yet, T, that he's met with one of his teams, that his childhood teams that he loved growing up? He met with them yesterday. Your thoughts?
No, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, but that's part of the thing. You have to go through the motions, take these meetings, see what people are talking about, because you never know. That zinger, sometimes being in those meetings, you ain't expecting that one little zinger. You go, I didn't know y'all was gonna do that. Let me think about this, but I don't think it's gonna happen. He also met with Odell Beckham Jr. And they're talking about keeping New York, fresh. So we got to see what happens. But I still say the Yankees, even though their initial offer gonna have to come up $100 million, even though I know it sounds absurd hearing it out loud. I think the offer is like 250-ish, right?
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I'm like, this is our problem. You don't come in lowball. You know what I mean? That's going to at least have to come up another 100, at least.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to make that push for 350.
Yeah, at least that's what I'm saying. You got to come. Well, maybe that's their little. I hate to say it, but that's the Delancey Street in the Yankees.
Yeah, possibly. Vic, what's your take on Aaron Judge meeting with the Giants yesterday, man? I mean, everybody's been talking about, wow, this could be serious. It could be, if he's going to do it, it'll be done during the winter meetings, which is in another 2 weeks.
Frank, let me let you off the hook. This whole thing got misconstrued. He didn't meet with the Giants. He met with Odell Beckham Jr., who used to play for the Giants. It's not the same thing. Hey, man, listen, man, it is what it is, man. He's a superstar talent in Major League Baseball where there's no salary cap and you can sign a contract for as long as the two sides agree. So it's to the highest bidder. You know what I mean? We'd love to keep him here in New York, as far as a Major League Baseball star. He was, we call it born and raised. He was bred here in New York. But if New York is not going to give up off of that money to keep him, then, go to the highest bidder. And, I tip my cap to him, man. I want him to get paid. If the Yankees are not willing to pay, then, go to the highest bidder.
Yeah, 100%. And now, Mike, being that you also are a New York fan, tell me what your thoughts are. Do you see something that we're not seeing or we're not saying? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's gone. He's going to the Giants. And I think the Yankees have realized what is the point of having a 61 home run guy and get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs? Like, your pitching is where this is all going to be based on. You can have 3 or 4 guys hit 30 home runs each, and if your team ERA is 3.0 or below, you're going to move on in the playoffs. So I think the Yankees have spent so much money on so many players for so long, and I think the San Francisco Giants are just saying, we have pitching. Now it's time for us to get this guy, bring him home. And, there was a story that we couldn't verify that I sent to you a few weeks ago. We just couldn't verify it. Like, there was no other information. I just got a Twitter alert that there was some report saying that he was going to sign with the Giants. And that was like 3 weeks ago. But we couldn't find any backup information in order to verify the whole thing. So we're trying to be responsible. But I think he's going to the Giants.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I think he's gone too, honestly. I think he's gone. But we'll get to that sooner or later. We'll find out real soon. Let's talk about the NBA now, man, because there's a lot of big games that happened last night, T. Let's talk about first the Brooklyn Nets and Ben Simmons coming in hot and heavy, playing the Philadelphia 76ers, who were short 3 or 4 players and everything else. But the Brooklyn Nets still lost, T. I know y'all saw the game.
First of all, that was a horrible showing. This is your chance to show your capabilities, like I said yesterday. And they went in there and stunk it up. I mean, they just stunk it up. It was like nobody told them there was a 3-point shot in the game of basketball. And nobody's going to get out there and guard the 3. And all night, they're just banging them, hitting them with the 3. And you let Tobias look like Kawhi Leonard last night. He looked like Kawhi on the Raptors. He got busy. And you got KD, you got Kyrie, and you got Ben Simmons. All 3 of your top starters are playing. The other team are missing the 3 top stars. And the young bench run your ass out the gym. You know what? I'm not going to Brooklyn for 6 months.
Unless he got a show.
I thought they would get around the building by 40, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Did I mention unless I have a show?
Oh, I think.
Salem was like, I'm not going to the Barclay either.
Right.
Unless I have a show.
Wait, talk to me. Tell me what you thought about it, because Tobias Harris did look like a star. He looked like he took it personal over the Ben Simmons situation, because they picked Ben Simmons over Tobias. Tobias looked like he had a lot of underlying things to prove. Tobias looked like the man last night. Talk to me, man. Ben Simmons and Brooklyn Nets returned to Philly, and it was a debacle on the other side.
Yeah, Niang was knocking down shots and talking trash and all that stuff like that. Here's the thing, man. I keep saying this over and over again, and one day somebody is going to be like, you know what? They right. I don't care how much offense you got, baby. You don't play no defense. You ain't winning nothing. You can't tell me that Kyrie and KD are 2 of the best scorers in the NBA history that the NBA has ever seen. And they couldn't beat basically a couple of starters in the bench from the Philadelphia 76ers because there was no defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop a cold. They couldn't stop anything. Everybody was scoring. It just wasn't the names we know. Those guys we never seen before was scoring. It's like, who's this dude? Like, yo, he's good. Yo, who's that guy? It was like guys I ain't even never heard their name before was scoring. If you don't play defense in the NBA, I don't care who you got on your team, you are not winning. Because guess what? I don't care whether you know the name on their jersey or what team they play for. All of these guys are NBA players and they NBA caliber. And if you don't play no defense, they can hit an open shot and they can beat you. It looked horrible. The Nets look horrible.
Mike, what's your take on on Ben Simmons' return last night? And did you think he played well enough for them to win? What was your take?
Let me get to my points fast. Number one, Ben Simmons is useless if your 2 stars don't play well. Ben Simmons is a co-star. That's all he is. He's a co-star. He adds to your stars. He's going to get he's going to get 11 rebounds. He's going to get some assists. He's going to get like 10 points. He is the icing on the cake that the stars have to make the cake for him. He's not the main star. Number two, I'm not overreacting, but I got to tell you, I know Kyrie's coming off and he's coming back and he's rusty. But Kyrie last night looked like everything that's going on outside the court has finally caught up to him. And he's dealing with all the pressure of having his name on every newscast, on every TV, on every blog, on every meme, on everything. There are people supporting him and there are more people against him. And last night I saw that man turn over, get stripped twice on his handles, which just does not happen. So maybe Kyrie just needs some time to get his feet grounded. They have nobody who can control rebounds off the boards. Nobody. There's nobody who can control that or protect the rim. Kevin Durant right now is so flustered and so frustrated that they're going to be spurts and they'll make a run. They'll get it together. I'm not going to overreact over one game. They'll get it together. They'll make a little bit of a run. Kevin Durant knows they're not winning a championship. He knows they can't win a championship. Vic got it on point. Not only don't they play defense, but they don't have the size to play defense. They got a lot of small guys that are getting used up. Seth Curry is great, but if you're asking him to cover somebody, forget it. He left the three-point shooter open 3 times in the corner and went to double team somebody who was covered 3 separate times. Like, this Brooklyn Nets team is a mess. It's a waste of talent. And I mean, I'll go back to Brooklyn if I have a show. And I'll go back too.
Hey Frank, I say this too. PJ Tucker looks like Kevin Durant's kryptonite. He did it when he was on Milwaukee Bucks. He played him when he was on the Celtics. He played him and last night he was on it. PJ Tucker did play for the Celtics, right?
No,
he played for the Bucks, but at least Fig, when he played for the Bucks, Durant was still scoring 29, 30 points. Last night,
PJ Tucker makes it difficult for Durant, and like when you play hard, tough defense on Durant, it just seems like he just goes away, man. He like fades. You know what I mean? When you get that aggressive guy that played like a PJ Tucker and you like up into him like all game long and you don't let him free, he just fades, man. He was on a pace to score 25 points every single game except for last night.
All right. Let's talk about the other game that everybody's talking about, because there's 2 things in this game I want to talk about. Actually, 3 things about this game. The other game everybody's talking about is obviously the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers. Anthony Davis scored 37 points, 21 rebounds, had 5 steals, and the Lakers still lost. But everybody's talking about the Patrick Beverly coming in and shoving Deandre Ayton in the back like with 3 minutes left to go in the game. Talk to me about, I know you saw all the highlights unless you watched the game itself. Talk to me about Pat Beverly, in the news as the Lakers lose now. Now the Lakers are now 5-11. What's your take on this team?
Well, I mean, as far as Patrick Beverly, that's why you got him. You brought him in there because he can bring the ball up, run the floor, but at the same time, he could pop off. You know that. You know what you got. You know what you went and got. You felt you needed it. I think the Lakers felt like they was lacking some sort of toughness with that situation. But as far as getting showings like that from your big guy and still ended up with the L, I don't know what to tell him, man. I just think that this was a bad idea from the beginning, and it didn't look like it from the beginning because we had COVID in the bubble. Right. I think because of COVID in the bubble, our vision was skewed a lot, in teams and organizations. And we talked about it all the time. A lot of people need that crowd there. And then the guys who are scared of a crowd kind of flourish because they wasn't there. So, it goes both ways. But I think the Lakers, bro, it's time to tear it apart and rebuild it. Send everybody somewhere else and start fresh. Problem is, they are the Lakers, and they're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one way of definitely looking at the situation. And I can't say you're wrong about anything you said. But Patrick Beverly coming up, pushing somebody else in the back again has happened like 2 or 3 times. Fig. He's in the news. The Lakers lost again. What's your take on this, Fig?
That's what Patrick Beverly does. He did it in the in the mind frame that he was sticking up for his teammate because DeAndre Ayton was standing over him, and the guy was down on the ground. And Patrick Beverly, came up and pushed him. That's who Patrick Beverly is. There's a couple guys that you know that you have on your team that'll do stuff like that. And if you want to win a championship, these are the guys that you need. You got the Charles Oakleys, the Draymond Greens, the DeMarcus Cousins, back in the day, Meta World Peace. When you got a guy who far back as Mad Max, when you got a guy who NBA players think is just a little bit off, and this dude may lose it and fly off the handle, it sort of keeps the other guys in check from puffing their chests out and doing things. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the guys that you need on your team, the lunch bucket dudes. And like Talent said, you knew what you was getting when you got Patrick Beverly. If he was bigger, he'd have a bigger impact. No pun intended. But if Patrick Beverly was like 6'9", he'd have more of an impact. But the fact that he's small in stature, he only has, he's only an irritant as opposed to, an enforcer, if you will. But that's why they got him, because they knew he was going to do that.
Vic, I understand your point. The only thing is that you name all these dudes who will not push you in the back. They all come up in your face and push you in the face. That
is the P word. He is the P word. He is the P word in real life.
Yeah,
well, I say this, but I also said that he's small in stature, so he's not an enforcer. He's more of an irritant.
No, I heard
that was more irritating than being an enforcer.
No, I heard that part. I'm just saying that there's a lot of guys who's small in stature too, ain't pushing you in the back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no respect for the dude to come run up and push you in the back. But Mike, Sean, what's your take on this, man? Pat Beverly in the news. The Lakers lost, but AD went off. You know what I mean? He scored 37 and 21. So what's your take?
I mean, it looks good for AD. I'm sure LeBron is trying to get healthy. Then LeBron probably thinks, hey, I'm gonna ride this situation. I'm gonna feed Anthony Davis and let him. Don't change. LeBron, don't change the flow of the game. One thing I did notice with the Lakers is that the speed of the game, the way they push the ball, is a lot faster than when LeBron comes down and decides, okay, let's set this play up. Like, let this man flow with the. He's when he's healthy, he's more athletic than the person covering him 90% of the time, unless Giannis is covering him or like two other people in the league. Maybe if Zion's covering him. To Patrick Beverly's thing, Patrick Beverly ain't worth the problem. He ain't worth the problem. Let me tell you what Patrick Beverly did last night. He scored 0 points. I can't have my point guard score 0 points. Like, Patrick Beverly led the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Minnesota was going crazy. And they were like, we won a series, and we're going to give a challenge to the, what's his name, John Morant and them guys, and they gave him a nice little series. Memphis. And you know what they did after the season? They said, you're not worth the problem. Even though we won a playoff series, you're not worth the problem. You know what the Clippers said? You're not worth the problem. Like, Patrick Beverly has this huge ego that he really believes that because he can frustrate a player on a few plays, that he is elite. Like, Patrick Beverly really believes that. He will take 3-pointers in the fourth quarter with 1 minute and 40 seconds left and not give your star player the ball. Mm-hmm. He's not worth the problem. He left last year. He had Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, and he was taking a 3-pointer at the end of the game. Oh, I don't even understand why the Lakers brought him in here. But the Lakers' decision-making has been wrong for the last 2 years on the players that they try and surround LeBron and Anthony Davis with. Not worth the problem, man.
And the ones they let go are doing well in other places.
And they all flourish.
Yeah.
Even THC or TCH with Utah, he's actually showing off and getting some run now.
Caldwell Pope. Oh man, the list just goes on and on of the players that the Lakers let go. Man, it's just these guys are doing well. I would venture to say if these guys were still on the Lakers, they'd be a winning franchise and they'd be a lot younger.
See, speaking of the Phoenix Suns, it looks like the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks have been linked for a couple of months because they're talking about trading Jay Crowder. It's being reported right now that even though the salaries don't match up exactly, Jay Crowder looks like he may land before the trade deadline. Jay Crowder and Jordan Noah will land on basically the Milwaukee Bucks. And as we all know, Phoenix will get a 6'9", 225-pound forward who can stretch the floor. But the biggest thing is Jay Crowder is going to Milwaukee. What you think about Jay Crowder potentially landing on the Milwaukee Bucks in a potential probably one of the biggest trades in the midseason? What you taking that?
It's not fair. That's not fair.
That's not.
That's like having two. That's two Middletons. That's two Middletons. You know how hard it is for them to jump off a double team when they kick back to Middleton, and now you got another Middleton. It's not fair. It's not fair. Throw a jersey to one of the refs because they're gonna need a 6-man out there. That's stacking the deck. That's beautiful if you're Milwaukee. I mean, if I'm Milwaukee, I'm not frowning at all because these guys are very similar to me in play. Like they can slash at will. They can hit the outside shot, the three, every given Sunday. They can do that. I mean, but more importantly, they both got defense. They're both good rebounders. Dude, that's crazy. If I'm Giannis, I'm dumb happy. Because Giannis is already the type of player you really don't know how to guard him. Because just when he looks like he's going to settle for three, he'll just take off to the rim and beat you off the dribble or look like he's going across. You ever see when he do that dunk where he's going across like wing to wing? But he just dunks sideways like, dude, this is a problem. Problem for the whole league, but definitely the East. The East, nobody could come out.
That's one way.
I wish nobody back. I wish again.
There's one way.
Or something. Yeah, that's two Middletons. I think that's a great thing for Milwaukee, but the other teams in the East, man, it's not fair.
Fig, what's your take on Jay Crowder coming from the Suns? It makes the Suns.
A lot of people say Jay Crowder's not this, he's not that, or whatever, but Jay Crowder leaves it out on the floor, and I don't know about his, He can knock down open shots. Love Jay Crowder. I love his heart. Another one of them dudes that can be considered a kind of enforcer kind of dude. You know what I mean? If he's on the floor, you're not gonna punk him. I like those kind of dudes, especially when I have championship aspirations, because things get a little scrappy when you get to the playoffs and the finals. This is the kind of dude that you like to have in your locker room on your team. But question, Frank. Who is the player that Milwaukee is giving up for Crowder? Or do you not know?
Doesn't say.
And one thing that I just hope is not. I hope it's not Bobby Portis or Middleton. Because those dudes, man, like those dudes are just like Bobby Portis is like a Jay Crowder. You know what I mean? Except just like a little bigger. And with those dudes, hey, listen, I'm giving it to Milwaukee out of the East all day.
Wait, I apologize. It's Grayson Allen.
I thought it was.
There you go. That's a win-win.
Yeah,
that's a win-win for Milwaukee all day, every day. Grayson Allen. Oh yeah, oh my God, Jay Crowder for Grayson.
Yeah,
I take that. Oh, that's Milwaukee is gonna be. They're gonna be there. If they healthy, they're gonna be there.
With Bobby Portis and Jay Crowder on the court at the same time, with Giannis at the same time, that definitely be a problem for a lot of people in the East, especially if they all hitting their shots. What's your thoughts, Mike, on Jay Crowder for Grayson Allen?
I mean, I all I do is echo what the guy said. Talon said it great. He's a Chris Middleton with a splash of PJ Tucker. Just a splash of PJ Tucker on him. So when you add that guy who's a team player, now I need the Lakers to take a class from the Milwaukee Bucks on how you fill the role players on your team around your stars and how you make your star have more options. Quality, reliable options that come off the bench, that start, that play defense, that rebound, that offensive rebound, that dive for loose balls. These guys are quality role players. They're important. I don't understand what the Lakers are doing, but Milwaukee has mastered this, and they're on a run right now, and they realize that when you have a window, you go all in on that window, but you got to do it in an intelligent way that fits the process and the style of game that you play. That's it. That's all it is.
It's simple. It's really simple. If I was the Lakers, I'd hire Danny Ainge and get rid of their current GM that they have right now. I'd hire Danny Ainge because
the Lakers can't handle us. They can't hire a Boston Celtic. They can't.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I would do if I was there.
They can't hire.
They would definitely would do it, but
no, they'd rather lose. I think they'd rather lose.
The reason why I brought it up is because Utah Jazz right now, everybody looking at their record, everybody's like, wow. But the Utah Jazz are number 3 or 4 actually the 4th seed right now, and they're doing phenomenal. And Danny Ainge came in and he got tons of picks to still use. And the Utah Jazz is one of the best surprising teams in the league. That's why I would think about him. And
absolutely.
And Danny Ainge did the same thing with the Celtics because he finagled away. He traded away 3 big stars and ended up with those trades got JT and JB. You know what I mean? So he know how to build a team. But
it's Danny Ainge. It's Utah. Anybody could go there.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the Celtics would have never hired Jerry West, even though he was one of the greatest general managers. They would never hire Jerry West.
Right.
Very true. Very, very true. All right. So the question I want to have for you is when do you think the LA Clippers are going to be done with Kawhi Leonard? Because now he's ruled out again, except this time they're getting ready to face the Warriors, and Paul George is out too. So the Clippers are getting ready to face the Warriors without PG and Kawhi again. What's your thoughts on the Clippers and Kawhi?
Well, I think first of all, the Warriors, they had players out the last game, so they may still have some of their own woes at the same time, which make it keep the game a little competitive. I think they got all the patience in the world from Kawhi, bro. When I go back to the offseason of when they got him and how they was gung-ho and willing to give him the town and all that stuff, it's the Clippers. Like, they haven't had 2 or 3 big names on the team at the same time, and God knows. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So right now, I think they're still starting. As a fan, you're fed up. But I think the front office is starting to get a little tingly and apprehensive, like, what's going on here? Are we gonna be able to come back from this thing? Are we gonna play a full season, whatever the case may be? And it might be a little trickery happening at the same time. So, I would keep an eye open. Don't think this rest don't be sometimes strategic.
Interesting. Okay, that's one way of definitely looking at it. I personally, if I'm a Clippers fan, Fig, I'm upset with all this Kawhi sitting down because it's like he's not even really on your team. That's why I look at it. What's your take on this, Fig?
I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, superstar players when they're healthy, but when have they been healthy? I don't know. I don't remember the last time. I think the last time we seen Kawhi play a decent season is when he was in Toronto. That was it. We ain't seen Kawhi. Like people talk about him, but we ain't seen him. This nigga, Kawhi like Bigfoot. You hear about him, but you never really see him. I'm like, what's up? If I was listen, front office, fans, whatever, I'd be pissed, man. Just Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, man, they both are injured because of splinters, because they spend so much time on the bench. These dudes get injured. Oh my God. How you get turf toe and you play basketball? That's a football injury, but you got turf toe. I don't know, man. I'd be upset. I can't.
Mike Sean, what's your take on this, bro? How are you looking at it?
The Clippers are stuck. They can't trade Kawhi. Ain't nobody. If they were to put Kawhi on the market right now, everybody would give them the side eye, like, "Oh, we get it. The injury was a lot more severe than what y'all let on to. Oh, we get it now." Like, it's amazing how we'll make jokes about Anthony Davis being fragile, but yet Anthony Davis looks like an Iron Man compared to Kawhi Leonard. Like, at least Anthony Davis gives it an attempt. Like, let me try. Let me try and get in here and see when my back's going to hurt again. Let me see. But they're in a situation where they're stuck and they're not telling us the truth. They're not telling us exactly how severe this really is. Because it's not like you can tell me the man doesn't want to play. I think he knows that the end may be near. And they're trying to get one run out of him, trying to get one more run out of him to see if maybe some magic could happen if we rest him enough. You've rested him for years. Whatever the injury is, this might be chronic. This might be something that he'll never be the same of again, and he won't be able to come back. And unfortunately, the Clippers are going to be stuck with that contract because ain't nobody going to trade for him. And if they do trade for him, they're going to have to eat most of the contract. They're going to have to buy him out or something like that, and that's not going to happen.
I know. So, if I'm a Clippers fan, I'm like Fig said, I'm real angry, boy. If I'm a Clippers fan.
If you're a Clippers fan, stop acting like you deserve better. How about that? If you're a Clippers fan, stop acting like you deserve better.
Ooh, I didn't say all that. Clippers
you ain't
fans.
never like Clipper fans. Stop acting.
Hold on,
like, stop. They're like this. Like, what are they used to? Exactly what are the Clippers used to? What are they used to?
Mike, as Knicks fans, I don't think we should be saying anything.
No. I'm just saying we won a championship in the 70s. Like the Clippers, this has been the Clippers forever. They either have a talented team who just collapses with Doc Rivers, or they get stars that are hurt. I mean, these are the same guys who had Bill Walton. They had Bill Walton when he didn't have no feet.
All right, so let's keep it on moving because I want to talk about some NFL news, bro. And we talked about Zach Wilson yesterday. We thought that Zach Wilson potentially would not get benched. This morning, an hour before the news was released, that Zach Wilson was benched for the Jets, and he's going to be benched for Mike White. That's some guy named Mike White. He got drafted in the 5th round.
They not even bringing Flacco in.
He got benched though. T.
Hey, Taylor, you still want that bet?
Well, here's the thing, T. Here's the thing. Zach Wilson is 5-2 for the year. His only 2 losses are to the Patriots. Why do you think the Jets benched Zach Wilson, T? And talk to me what your thoughts are.
Because if you don't bench him, you admit that your play calling sucked. Ooh. So I got to cover my ass, so to speak. Pardon my French. Ooh. I got to cover my ass as a coach, because if I don't bench him, I have to admit that it was my play calling and not the quarterback. But if I bench him, that's me not taking accountability and saying, man, we got to do something to quarterback because our quarterback position failed us that Sunday. How do you come to this conclusion? It's flabbergasting and mind-blowing to me, bro. Like, you made huge coaching mistakes that are clear and apparent. Like, you can go to any coach in this league and they'll tell you they wouldn't have ended that game the way you ended that game. Then nobody would have left 20 seconds for that other team, no matter who it was. They just wouldn't have did that. That was the game cost right there. And I understand when people don't want to admit to it, this is terrible. Yeah, this reminds me of a meme I seen earlier. I seen a meme, 5 things you can never find in one woman. Like, one woman can't possess all 5 of these things. And one of those was parallel parking, and the other one was admitting she was wrong.
This right here, men on this thing are not sexual.
This right here is this what this reminds me of.
Wait, I'm gonna throw this out there to you, Fig. I don't know if anybody realized, because it was not said on ESPN. I gotta look it up. I don't think there's ever been. I'm still looking it up before the show started. I don't think there's ever been an NFL quarterback who's benched, who's played 7 games, was 5-2. I don't think that's ever happened in NFL history. Zach Wilson, and to the same to the same team. 2 losses to the same. I don't think it's ever happened in NFL history. But the Jets thought that they should bench him, and just like T said, they did not blame themselves. They didn't say it was the play caller. What's your take on this, Fig?
Well, first off, Talent's opinions about women. I need to put out a disclaimer. The views expressed by Talent are not necessarily those of the man.
First of all, I already told you it's a meme. It ain't me.
I know. Parallel parking. Anyway, my wife can't. Anyways, it's nothing. So, I think what happened is, man, I was listening and I couldn't make sense of it either. But it's either one or 2 things: either what Talent said, or his press conference after the game when I believe a reporter asked him, do you feel like the offense, or like you let your team down? And he said, no. Dude, you scored 1 field goal and had 2 yards total offense the entire second half. And when you asked, do you think you let your team down? He said, no. that means he's not in touch with what it is that's going on the field. And I think they replacing him and sitting him down, because if they don't, what message does that send to the rest of your players on your team? What message does that send to the defense? You lose your entire locker room because he has no credibility with his teammates now, because that's his mindset.
Or he was saying in his mind, Mike, he could have been saying, no, I didn't let my team down. And he could have been trying to say ... The coaches did, because the coaches are the one who called the plays. You know what I
But
mean?
that's what I'm about to say. Where's the question for the coach?
Right.
Do you think you let your defense down or your team?
Yeah,
That's a question for both of them.
Yeah, because the 2 yards, some of that's on him, Mike, but a lot of it has to. I watched the game intently. I think a lot of it was on the play calling for the coaches, because they could run the ball and chose not to. They chose to throw the ball in those conditions. But anyway, what's your take on this, Mike?
I think Taylor makes some good points about the play caller. I just think you got to be a cocky MFer in your rookie year to sit in that press conference and say no.
Right.
And I think the audacity is, in the same day, your coach backed you in his press conference. But obviously the coach didn't see your press conference. The coach said he is our quarterback. The press conference after the game, he said he is our quarterback. So then when he saw that, he said, this mother just said no.
Right. That's really what happened.
And he was like, what?
In his year 2? I thought this was year 2 for
Jack. Year 2, he's still a young quarterback. He still doesn't have you still don't have the rank to be able to say no. Like, even Steve Young, when they interviewed him, Steve Young said, yo, in my 7th year as a 49er quarterback, if they
I don't think you got the right to have a Super Bowl, right, Mike?
Until you have a Super Bowl, you can't say no. But then the head coach, he wobbled and saw that and went and flipped on the other side, which is so unprofessional. It's so unprofessional to come back the next day after you blatantly said this is our quarterback. And then it's so unprofessional to come back and say, well, now I got to see the tape. And then next thing you know, now he's benched. It's a mess. And the unfortunate part is that the Jets have the talent on that team right now to make a move or something. They have the talent. They have a defense that's a shutdown defense. They're there. And now you're going to put Mike White in there. What the hell is Mike White going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather is Flacco still on the team?
Yeah, he's still there.
I'd rather put a 40-year-old and make him throw the ball 13 times, and we run the ball, and we play field position the entire game, and we tell the defense before the game starts, this game is on your shoulders. It's on your shoulders. So everything I call is basically put you in better field position, and basically we're going to try and flip field position whenever we get in the negative. Okay, that's what I would do.
But if you're a Jets fan, you can't be too disappointed, because the Jets are playing the Bears this week, and the Bears are going to be without Justin Fields.
Let's see. Mike got a point, because I'm going to go with the 40-year-old too, because at the end of the day, Flacco has a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
that counts for something.
That's why I'm saying the Jets have a chance to win this week, no matter who the QB is, because they don't have Justin.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that. First of all, when the last time we've seen somebody named Mike White back there?
Yeah. Listen. I am not going to be trying to force you to say the Jets are going to win.
We sound like a supervisor at Target. Mike White. Mike White to the customer service desk. Mike White to the customer service desk.
All right. So let me ask you this about this one, T. The Cowboys and the Giants are playing Thursday. The Cowboys and the Giants are both in the midst of OBJ. They're trying to get OBJ. They both look like they're going to land OBJ. It looks like Dave, the business bully, decided to join us too. Dave, what's happening?
Oh,
good, man. How's it going?
No.
What do you know?
Oh, somebody else without sleeves.
Hello, my friend. Hello.
Oh.
All right, so what's your take on this? The Giants are playing the Cowboys this Thursday. The Giants and the Cowboys are both trying to land OBJ. Big game for both of them. It's a Thanksgiving game. What's your take?
First of all, I'll be there, right? Second of all, OBJ gonna be at the game like this. Whoever win, get me. I'm not going to no loser. I need a contender. Whoever win this game, we talk. But I mean, I think that it's not a bad idea to land on either one of the teams. Obviously, New York would love to see them back in the Big Blue. So that's a reunion, and right now they need them. You know what I mean? They can definitely use some outside threat. Everything's forced on the running back right now, and I like Saquon. Saquon, when he looks good, he looks great. But when it comes to running backs, you have to give your quarterback other options instead of just running that guy into the ground for 18 weeks or whatever it is. You can't do that. You gotta, you have to have some other threats, because when people know that what you have is all you have, we already know how the blitz coming, baby. And we already know that's how injuries happen. You know what I mean? So they can definitely use him, out there, and he'll make the quarterback look better. You know what I mean? Because OBJ makes those kind of catches. He make those kind of catches where people go, ooh, not realizing that was a horrible throw.
Yeah.
Right? Don't he make it look like that's going to be in the bleachers, but he put that 2 fingers out there, bring it in, and everybody go, ooh, and everybody forgot, what the hell was you throwing to?
Yo, Eli threw Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham made the greatest catch in history, and Eli threw the worst pass in history. Like it was in one play, and I love Eli in one play.
In the same play. Because we got not so much time, I want to get through some of this stuff. Let me bring up Fig, and Bills are playing the Lions on Thanksgiving too, man. It's a Bills preview, but the Lions are playing really, really, really good. But the Bills are playing again in Detroit again the second weekend in a row because of the snowstorm. What's your take on the Bills versus the Lions preview on this, man? What's your take?
Hey, man, they should be comfortable because they already played there last week. They should know all the ins and outs, all the divots in the field and stuff like that. Listen, I know we got a lot of Bills fans, on box seats, Bills Mafia and all that stuff like that. Let's just say this. If the Bills don't beat the Lions, this season is over. It's over. It's a wrap. You don't beat the Lions, the season is a wrap. I think the Bills are going to handle the Lions handily on tomorrow.
Okay, that's one definite way to look at it. Let me ask Mike Sean. The Vikings are playing the Patriots, and the Vikings are coming back from one of their worst losses they've had in a long time from the Cowboys. They're playing the Patriots on Thanksgiving Day too. What's your thoughts on the Patriots versus the Vikings game?
After the Cowboy game, the Vikings should have been moved off the holiday schedule. They should have been moved off and put on Sunday, and they should have replaced that game with another game. Like, I don't listen, man. I don't mess with the Vikings ever again after the bet I placed on the Cowboy game. And what they did, they should be removed. They should be removed. Their game should be moved to Groundhog's Day. If they want to play on a holiday, it should be moved to Groundhog's Day.
So they can run it back and get it right.
They just run it back. I'm not playing with the Vikings. I have no other comments. They'll probably
don't do that, Mike. Don't do that. Everybody deserves redemption.
They'll probably win the game. This is ironic. They'll probably beat the Patriots because the Patriots are literally offensively deficient. Like, they're handicapped. They all should have handicap parking stickers. The whole offense should have handicap parking stickers and should be able to park in the front of every mall. All of them. Everyone. Quarterback.
Oh, my God.
So the Vikings will probably win the game, but I don't mess with the Vikings anymore. I won't even watch Purple Rain again. I won't even watch Purple Rain.
Yo.
Damn.
Mike, I mean, Dave talked to me about the Eagles because the Eagles ended up getting by, and I mean barely getting by. And we were looking for you for a whole, 4 days now.
I understand.
Okay, so now this is your chance to redeem yourself and tell us how the Eagles was able to squeak by that win and talk to you.
So first off, apologies to my box seats family. I was in the midst of training. I just took 5th place in a fitness contest. So I was, like the fact that my fat ass is placing anything, I had a whole lot of discipline and I was angry. So I'd have cussed all of y'all out just because.
Were there only 5 people in there though? You got to tell us how many people were in the.
First of all, stop embellishing on the wet t-shirt contest you was in.
First of all, I'll have talent.
Oh
Listen,
God.
if you want, no. First of all, there were 20 people. There were 20 people in the contest, and that's
what we're talking about.
Anyway, when it comes to the Eagles, can I tell you something? Since August, you light-skinned and brown-skinned people with dogs had so much to say about, the Eagles ain't going to do nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, the Eagles are coming for it. Y'all have been waiting. You're like a mother-in-law who has a daughter-in-law who's just a little too fine for her son and just waiting for that day that her ass starts to spread just a little bit. Okay? Let me break this down for you, Frank Holder. I don't know if you guys know this. A win is a win. Okay?
It is.
And even still, even if we squeak by 1 point, we still did a whole lot more than what Ben Simmons has done all season. I know it's a different sport, but we're playing a different game.
Damn,
That's why I wanted to bring David.
Somehow reached out to Ben Simmons on this. Wow.
Well, Dave, I'm guilty as charged. I will not deny. I've been waiting for this slippage.
Well, I will say this. I've been waiting for it too. I've been on it. All right, so before we move on, I want to just ask you guys, I saw this MVP conversation for the midseason MVP right now and everything else. And believe it or not, Tua is in the conversation for MVP, and some people are up against it. Now, Tua, in the games he started and completed, he is 7-0 this season. So, T, do you think Tua should be in the MVP conversation? Because people are saying he shouldn't be. I don't
think anybody. You can't have the double concussion and then get MVP. He's not even gonna remember this award. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right. I think everybody who wins an MVP should be able to sit around the table and brag about it and remember that, because I did this, I did that.
Oh God.
Tua is gonna be in that when he accepts that award, how you gonna grab it, Frank? How you gonna grab it? How you gonna grab it? How you gonna grab the award? How you gonna grab? No, I think that's absolutely right. You go by the numbers. If you started 7-0, how could you not be in that conversation?
Especially if you're winning and you're one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you got 7-0 when you out there starting all that, you got to be in that conversation. I mean, who else are we putting there next door?
Well,
he's doing the damn thing this year. He's doing the damn thing.
I'm glad you asked that too, because there's another quarterback who some people are saying should be at least in the conversation. Also, Fig, and that is Lamar Jackson. People are saying Lamar Jackson is doing pretty good this season too, and he should be in the conversation. So, figure if your midseason MVP, Lamar Jackson, Tua, who?
Well, let's say if you can't remember. What team was he playing with? Was it
How you feel about your MVP? What MVP?
MVP.
Oh, y'all are horrible.
It was like, do you remember any of the teams that you played? Yeah, I remember the Titans.
Oh, my God.
No, listen.
He played for Tennessee?
I give it to Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is the Baltimore Ravens are deprived of a lot of weapons, and we talked about that before. And Lamar Jackson is pretty much the entire squad. And we talked about had he had some running backs and maybe another receiver, that Lamar Jackson they'd probably be doing a lot better than they're doing now, and they're doing great. So I'd give it to Lamar because he carries more responsibility whether your team wins or loses. So that's why I have to give it to Lamar.
All right, Mike Sean, some people are even saying that it should unequivocally be Patrick Mahomes because he is playing the best in the career that he's ever had, his best stats in his entire career. Patrick Mahomes should be leading that, but he's not in the major conversation like that heavy with the sports writers. Who's your midseason MVP, Mike?
No, it's absolutely Patrick Mahomes. All this conversation stuff. Who's having these conversations? Obviously, you're not having them with Patrick Mahomes as part of the topic. And
right.
we can't remember.
We can't remember. And Fig makes an absolute great point that Lamar Jackson carries a lot of responsibility. But you know what? That doesn't matter in the MVP. That's like if me and my wife both work and we got a big house. And the dude across the street, his wife don't work, and his house ain't as nice as mine, but he works harder. He has more responsibilities. My house is still nicer. Like what we're doing here is still better. You got more responsibility. Well, you chose to stay there, Lamar. You want to be an MVP? Get on out of there and get your money. Because Patrick Mahomes right now is leaps and bounds better than everybody else, including Justin, including Tua, including everybody. This guy's on pace to throw for over 5,000 yards.
Yeah. And Dave, the business bully, the last question for you is Jalen Hurts isn't mentioned by not one sports writer for leading in the MVP category, which could be considered almost like despicable because he had the Eagles at one point like 8-0. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. Listen, I could do 1,000,001. Listen, I could have 1,000,001 shows and rip, and I have one shitty show. Sorry, Frank. I have one bad show, and that's all anybody remembers. Let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts is a beast with it. Okay. He's an absolute beast with it. And yeah, it's disrespected, it's blasphemy, but it's the same thing that happens on the box seat. Bunch of haters. These sports writers are a bunch of haters because let's face it, they couldn't even get picked third string quarterback in Pee Wee football, so they sit around and write about it. They're going so far back that Stephen A. Smith's hairline is starting to look like Cro-Magnon Man. It's absolutely insane the way these people just skip over Jalen Hurts. That is a young black quarterback that did not have the tools until this year, and when he got them, come on, man.
Dave, you have to let a lot of stuff go, bro. We're gonna have to talk to you. We're gonna have to have one of them circles where you got to let some stuff go.
No, I'm not even on it. See, you being messy right now, Frank, because you're mad at your Patriots. I was just saying generally. Talking, bro. I've been doing stand-up since I was 19, bro.
But it makes sense. This is the world we live in. Like, people remember the tragedy over the good. You can make love to that woman 100 times and blow her back out, but that time that you go too fast, that one time you do it too quick.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never gonna forget that one.
No, that's the one she talks about to her girls at brunch.
Yeah. Forget all those fires.
What she said. She said, "Girl, I'll be there in a minute."
I don't know nothing about what y'all talking about at all.
Sure you do. Why you think you don't have on sleeves? There's a reason you lost. Stop acting like you know what's going on out here. There's a war going on out here.
Yo, that's the show's called Box Seat. It's Wednesday. We are not going to be here tomorrow because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I need
what we mean?
Everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving, and including all the women and gentlemen who will continue to watch and support the show. I want to thank you all for doing that. And before we leave up out of here, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
All right. First, I would like to say I know we're off tomorrow for Turkey Day. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. But let's make sure we come back Friday, Frank, because 3 football games we can't let go by. It is Turkey Day. It's football day. Everybody follow me, Talent Duck Comedian. If you got people in Texas, Dallas area, holler at your boy. Go to my Instagram, Talent Duck Comedian. You see the flyers up there. Me and the big homie Smokey Suarez rocking out there. And then just another week behind that will be December 4th. And we'll be in Boston at Laugh Boston, rocking out there. Ironically, this morning while I was on the radio, somebody called up and was like, "When you coming back to Boston?" I said,
It's fortuitous.
I like that. Fig, talk to me.
Yo, man, happy Thanksgiving to all the people who participate, box seats, everybody on here, and definitely to everybody that tunes in and watches. Man, we appreciate you 100,000%. May you have a blessed day and enjoy everything that is made for you. And you can follow me at Comedian Fig, all social media platforms. And this is Box Seats, the best damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama.
Mike, talk to me.
I'm on that Redeem Team tour, 23 days sober. So I'm about to kick somebody's ass in Atlantic City. So make sure you come out there. The showboat's going to be popping. Make sure if you're in Dallas Fort Worth, my people, go check out Talent. I posted it. Y'all already know. Y'all don't hit me up. I don't have any tickets. I don't have any connections. I don't have a plug. Go there. And yes, I don't have any ins. So make sure you just spend your money and enjoy your time. They got a whole weekend of festivities. So go spend that money. I'll see you in Atlantic City.
Yes, sir.
Dave, the business bully.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. Tomorrow I'm going to have a card for the first time in like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? The wife's making mac and cheese, so that's an event. Aside from that, I am gearing up, for the 420s, which is happening in January. Also, I'll be doing Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and then this weekend I am going to be at your mama's house for spare plates. So I'm really excited about that.
How are you in a competition and you going for spare plates? Go
I didn't eat. You see this? This doesn't just happen. Okay?
Hey, my mother called. She said, "Don't you bring your ass food."
Especially I ain't got no sleeves on. I ain't gonna make it.
Hey, Dave, I just heard from my mother. She said there ain't no plate for you in heaven.
Damn. Your mama gonna kill me. So
Thank you all for watching. The show's called Box Seats. We're on twice a day, 7 and 11. And Rodney Perry will probably be back with us again next week. You guys know how we do it. I ain't gonna promise we're gonna be on Friday, but
you better be on Friday.
Oh, y'all can do it without me. Y'all can do it without me. Y'all,
Hey,
that's
hey,
irresponsible.
he don't sound like he coming on, so we probably got to take an IG live.
Yeah, probably. But we'll figure it out between now and then. Name of the show is called Box Seats. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate y'all. And of course, most definitely, y'all be safe because Thanksgiving holiday is the highest crash, drunk driving, everything else, man. Y'all need to go out there and be safe with your family and everything else. And a lot of arguments on, family when they get together, boy, they set it off, including my family. They set it off when they get together. So I'm preparing for that. I got the straps on and everything, getting ready for it.
Frank invited Herschel Walker to his holiday party.
Now listen, you heard what Herschel Walker said. This erection is about more than votes.
This erection, right?
He said this erection. I was like, whoa, Herschel.
Yo, we'll see y'all, man. The show's called Box Seats. Thank y'all for watching. Take care.
Peace. And we're hitting the button.
I hit it 3 times, bro.